tell me. If not, whatever. We'll just go live here. Put this over here. Did you just throw this lighter at me?
No, I threw my can.
Where did these lighters just come from? They both just hit me in the foot.
I don't know, you must have kicked them up. Do you need the light on, baby?
No, everything I'm on is on the computer.
Or are you just making like a video with your voice?
I was just gonna go live, but everything I have is on a screen, so I don't care. You can do whatever you need, babe. Shut it.
Baby voice passed over.
You can shut it off. Shut it off. I don't need it. I can scene type.
Let me sneak in a quick nap.
Get it, baby.
Since I got baby shit real soon. I think he's tired.
He's a very tired baby.
Good luck, Daddy. We love you.
I love you guys.
You want me to turn it down?
No. Should be fine. Yes, they go.
No more butt talk at breakfast.
Yeah.
You know how many times your dad has said that to me and Chasey? No butt talk at breakfast.
No more butt talk. Oh, we already live, man? I didn't even know I was live. That's hilarious. I've been live this whole time. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? That's hilarious. So I was trying to get everything set up before I went live all the way here. How's everybody doing today? What's going on, my friends? Alright, so let me get this set up a little bit here. No, I didn't know I was live though right now. Sorry about that. Let's see, let me get 2 seconds here to get some stuff set up. We have a lot to go over. We got the single ETFs going on. Alrighty, let's go into these. All right. How is everyone doing today? Make this go to white. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So, going back to the derivatives market today. Two seconds here. Let's set this last thing up here. So I'm just looking for one thing. All right, so this is the last thing I'm looking here too. All right, so first thing we're going to go over, a lot of people, actually let me pull up these delays too. I want to just pull up the delay on the CAT system as well. We're going to go over the CAT system here quick and why they're delaying it the most and why they're so scared of it. So the number one thing that this CAT system actually is going to do, and this is why regulators are so scared of it, it's going to hold regulators accountable. Right now they have the excuse that, the gray areas that they can say we don't have access to this information, we can't see this, blah, blah, blah. And they'll always have that excuse that they can say, well, these guys self-reported it wrong. These guys mismarked something. These guys should have marked this short when it or long, or marked it long when it should have been short. You guys are seeing non-stop, banks getting penalized. And we're actually going to go over these bank penalties because this is just ridiculous. If you guys look at this, this is their fine total. Whoa, 1 second here. So stupid here. All right, so I'll just read them off here. So this is their total fines for the top 10 companies, and you guys can see the total penalties. And it's like you have Bank of America at $82 billion. You have J.P. Morgan Chase, $36 billion. It's like every one of these banks, I keep telling you guys, are the major issues, the major concern in all of this. Look how much they're paying just in penalties alone. These guys are running everything. They're the DTCC. They're destroying ISDA. They are literally destroying the world economy. And you guys can see what's going on, actually. So, in China, they're actually doing something that we should all be considering doing. This is actually an insanely smart thing that they are doing. If you guys look, they're actually not paying their mortgages. They're banding together. You have 50 cities that are not paying their mortgages in China. They're pretty much forcing those banks to have a 2008, whether they want to have one or not. I'm not saying that everyone that has a mortgage here, I'm not saying, suggesting to do that here. But if you guys look, Dad actually had an emergency meeting over there because you have, like I said, 50 cities worth of people saying, you know what, fuck this stuff is all a joke. I'm not going to sit there and allow this to keep happening. And as you guys can see, it's going to be some huge things going on. Over in Panama, you got another riot. Like I said, you guys, these banks, it's happening worldwide. This is every single person, every bank is over leveraged. You guys see these banks are all over leveraged 200 to 1, 150 to 1, 125 to 1. And they're getting higher and higher by the day. JP Morgan just sent 60 trillion. $14 trillion in the first quarter JP Morgan threw in there. I mean, think about that number. You guys, they are so fucked in all of this. They ended up having to come to more bullshit and make these new things we're going to get into here. These single stock inverse leveraged ETFs. There's a lot of problems with these ETFs. The fact the SEC approved this is a complete joke. This is nothing to do to help us. This is to help shorts. This is to screw retail. This is something to where they can pass it on to pensions, 401ks. Most of the time you have people that don't have say in where their 401k happens. This is how they're going to screw a lot of people over because like I was telling you guys, there's nothing they can do when Phase 6 happens. There's nothing they can do when the repository system happens. You already see worldwide these banks are crashing. They're having marches. You have people not paying their mortgages, trying to force these ISDA banks who have all of, like I said, you guys, they're trying to basically force 2008. There's nothing they can do about it. We need to all think of things like this type of stuff. We need to start attacking these banks. It's all about these banks. Like I said, they're the regulators. They own everyone. They own Wall Street. They own the politicians. They have dark money. Dark money for the first time in history broke $1 billion this election. I mean, 680 million went to Democrats for a reason. Like I said, red or blue, they don't care. All they care about is who's going to pay them the most. This dark money is running our country. We need this. Everybody, we need you guys to comment on this ruling as well. With this CAT system, they're already trying to find ways to get around it. They're already trying to find ways to not have to report to it. We're going to get into these OTC trading options in a minute because, as you guys can see, these don't need to really be reported to anybody, it turns out. So we'll get into that in a second here, but before I get back to that, let's go back to the CAT system. So this CAT system, you got Hester Pierce. They delayed it until, I can't even remember, it was like 2024. Let me pull this up here. It's like 2024 December, I think. I can't remember what month it is in December, but they can always have deniability as long as the CAT system isn't in place. The number 2 thing the CAT system does that is not currently in place, which is unreal. They don't have a date or a timestamp attached to trades right now. Think of how insane that is. It's literally 100% like, all right, a broker says it happened at this time. Or a market maker said they got it at this time. So that's a gray area in reporting that this would get rid of. You also have spoofing, is what a lot of people call it, but it's actually called layering. So what this is, and the reason that this will get rid of that is because the CAT system will actually mark EIN numbers for their employment identification number is what that means. And then you have or employer identification number, sorry. And then the other thing they have on there is the venue ID. So these guys aren't going to be able to use dark pools over and over and over and pass it between it to where nobody can see it. One of the things I showed you guys before is there's actually called market making dark pools. These are special dark pools that basically the giant banks have access to. These are going to be your higher up banks. This potentially, I'm not going to say it is because I don't truly know, but it could be like a Citadel Connect. It's going to be your market maker dark pools. Now, what they can do currently is what's spoofing or layering is they're able to manipulate the stock price. You're going to have 2 people passing shares back and forth, trades back and forth. They're going to layer it under the stock price before it hits milliseconds before. They're going to go ahead and cancel the order. But it was just enough, to affect the MBBO, of course. So what this is going to do is get rid of spoofing. You're going to stop seeing those huge, massive orders coming up, and all of a sudden they just disappear and never get filled. So the CAD system will get rid of that. It actually gets rid of a lot of market maker exclusions. I'm not going to get into each one of them because there's about 15 of them. But each one of them is going to drastically affect what market makers are able to do, where they're able to get shares. Hold on a second. People talking about big ones. Why aren't you joining Boss? I didn't know Boss was in the think tank, my friend. Number 5. A lot of people are just asking me to make a video today, so I was just trying to get on that quick here. So, number 5. The next thing it's going to do is stop, delay in reporting. So a lot of the times you would see, Ken talk about, yeah, it takes weeks, days, maybe months for us to fill it. It's because they're able to do a lot of the delay in reporting. They're actually, and also what will stop as well is mismarking shorts for longs. This is another thing that they're able to do. They're able to take shorts out. And a lot of people are like, how are they able to borrow? How is utilization still this high? How are they able to do all these things? Well, one of the things they're able to do is borrow those shorts, mark them as long, and then clearly it's a way to take out a short, utilize it, but not have to pay it or not have it come up on the books as it should properly do. So there's a ton of things that this CAT system actually is going to stop, that if it goes into place, like I said, there's nothing they can do. There's no more excuses for regulators. One of the things that Dave Lauer said when he talked to the SEC is he told them that this would actually hold FINRA accountable. There's no more, well, they didn't get this or we don't have access, like I said. And he pointed that out to the SEC that this is, think about how insane this is. They're using basically 80-year-old system, So that'd be like the FBI, somebody walking up to the FBI and saying, hey, we have satellite technology. Hey, we have phone tracing technology. Hey, we have, technology where we can spy on whatever the website they're using, or we can, whatever you need them to do. And the FBI going, no, we don't want to do that. We like to be able to call them on the phone and say, hey, did you commit a crime? Because when you guys saw the GameStop report, they literally said inside this report, and this is a government report. This is why I will always pull this up. The United States government held this report. The United States government literally admitted to the world there was a $10 billion robbery and nothing happened. No one got arrested. No one cares. Think of how insane that is. Imagine if somebody went in and stole $15 million in a robbery, in a jewelry heist. That would be all over every news. That guy would be the number one wanted person. They stole $10.8 billion according to a government report. But inside of this report, the reason I pull it up is you guys see, they do it orally without making any written findings. They literally do all of this orally, you guys. They call them. They just call them on the phone. They think that calling them on the phone and saying, is your guys' positioning right? That's the best practice. I mean, think of how insane that is. You're asking thieves to be honest with you. Why would they ever be honest with you? And then when they're not honest with you, guess what? They get $82 billion in fines and no one cares. Think of how insane that is. $82 billion. Look at these. I mean, look at these amounts. Billions of dollars. This is insane. This is just penalties. They have almost 7,000, you guys. Think about this. Just the top 10 banks. The top 10 banks have 7,000 offenses. They have 7,000 times they broke the law. 7,000. And no one cares. And they're still able to practice. They're still able to trade. They're still able to steal from everybody, and no one cares. Think how insane that is. Said this CAT system, I told you guys for a while, it was one of the things we needed to have the squeeze happen, because what it does is it holds regulators accountable. This was the main reason why I said this. We needed this. It holds them accountable, and it makes it so they need to actually start doing their job. But necessarily with what's going on, I also told you this is the least out of the other two, or out of the three, that we need to have the squeeze happen. With what's going on with China, with them doing this kind of things, if they're literally having 50 cities worth of people refusing to pay mortgages across the country, I mean, that's something where, like I said, that's going to destroy their banks. That's going to destroy them in the derivatives market, which will make them have to recall the United States. This could have a global effect. This could be a huge thing. Everybody was asking a type of catalyst, and we always said we don't know what the catalyst will be. It could be something as crazy as this. It could be something as crazy as this. Other countries going off, making those type of ISDA banks have to recall on all of these loans, on all of these mortgages, on all of these contracts that they're going to need to pay their people, you guys. They can't just, look at this. You cannot just lock people out. You can't just lock out thousands, 2,000, 3,000 people and say you can't access your money. I don't care if you can't pay your bills. We don't have anything to give you. We're done. You're going to have revolts across nations. Like I said, this is going to have a massive effect. This is going to be insane. The derivatives market, this is where everything is done. This is how it is all continued. This is why ISDA Phase 6, and this is why this repository system are the most important thing to date. I don't care what the United States does. I don't care what these thieves do. I don't care what the market makers do. I don't give a shit about the SEC and the DTCC. I could care less. I don't give a fuck what rules they make. I don't care about these new single stock ETFs. They can make as many liquidity pools as they want. They all need to still borrow, and in the end of the day, they can borrow and borrow and borrow, but the only way their margins are met is through the derivatives market. That is why you have these banks throwing $16 trillion. Think about that. Or $14 trillion. They threw $14 trillion in the first quarter. By the end of the year, JP Morgan will probably have over $40 more trillion in the derivatives market. That's more than the United States has. That's just what they have in the derivatives market. This is my point. You have banks and corporations that have more money and more power than the entire United States. And people wonder why. Everything is so corrupt. You have 17 or 18 corporations that own like 60 to 70% of pretty much all companies, or they're like a sub company, or they own massive amounts of shares. It's ridiculous. It's to the point where we don't have monopolies. They've become beyond monopolies. It's just like with hedge funds. When they broke too many rules, what did they do? They evolved. They evolved into family offices where they could become unregulated. These monopolies, they evolved into corporate empires. What do? Instead of owning a majority in one side, they own a majority in 90 fields. So then they can throw that power and that weight around anywhere they want. They have short and distort. You have shorting now, where if you want somebody's technology, you don't even have to buy their company anymore. All you do is just short and distort them. You make it so where you get the media to bash their company. You short their company. You see you can control their stock as long as it's super easy for these guys to control stock. You can control the price, drop it. With all the people bashing that company, less and less people go to that company. Their profits go down. What do? Well, we need to innovate. We need to change. So then they go to these banks and they say, hey, we need these loans. And they attach convertible notes to those loans, just like you guys saw that they tried to do with AMC. When they get enough shares in the company and they keep lowering the price, of course, keep bashing it, shorting it, lowering the price for them, you get people that they'll call like Bain Capital. Bain Capital at this point will now strong arm other companies, keep them away. If you look up the history of Toys R Us with Bain Capital and Apollo, there's a group of these companies that they'll get together and they will strong arm everybody. And then what they'll do is tell the bankers or these companies will say, all right, we're the only ones that will give you loans. Bain Capital won't allow anyone else to do it. Apollo will try and get on the board, just like they did with Toys R Us. Then what they do is they say, all right, we're giving everybody bonuses. We're going to spend money that we don't have. So you got to keep going back to these banks, keep going back to these predators and saying, we need more money. We need to keep borrowing more money. Okay, that's fine. We'll give you more money because we're the only ones that will allow to give you money. And on top of that, we need more convertible notes. So now suddenly we have 60, 70% of your company worth of shares in convertible notes. I now convert those notes into shares and I own your company. I now own your patent. I now own your technology. And if it's something that would destroy a mega corporation like an oil company, what do? They bury your patent, they destroy it, and it never sees the light of day. Or they do what they did with Tesla. They attack it. It's the most shorted stock in the entire United States. They just keep on attacking it. They'll keep doing it forever. As you guys can see, apparently the regulators are on their side. According to the GameStop report, they can just go ahead and call up their buddies, who I just told you. Who is it? The bankers. And according to the GameStop report, the bankers can just go ahead and waive margin fees. Why would they do that? Because the bankers are the one writing all the ISDA contracts, so they're going to keep making money as long as the wheels turn. It's the only way these banks can stay in charge. The reason I show you guys this stuff with China, and it's such a massive deal with China, is this is the stuff that I've been telling you guys forever. We need to start making moves towards these banks. If you guys want to win this shit, you see the criminals. Here's your criminals. I've shown you every day. It's the banks. If you're in Bank of America, if you're in JP Morgan, get the fuck out of them. If you have credit cards backed by them, pay them the fuck off and open new credit cards that aren't backed by ISDA banks. Every single thing is done through this ISDA. It's done through the derivatives market. The derivatives market is how they avoid margin calls. It's 100% because of this. So what we need to do, we need to attack the derivatives market. Say, fuck this. Cut the head off the snake. I say that every single time. Let's say you're these banks. Okay? I'll make this very, very, very simple for anyone to understand. Let's say you're a bank. You write these ISDA contracts, which are called master agreements. And you write them with market makers. Now, the only people that are going to margin call Citadel, Virtue, these market makers, is the DTCC, or these banks. Okay? These are the only people in the entire world who are going to margin call them. Now, for everybody just to show you how fucking corrupt this is, and to show you how hard this is to make this happen, if you look at the board members of the DTCC, the people who are going to need to margin them, they're the regulators. They're the bankers. Oh, not only that, they're Citadel themselves. They're Virtue themselves. So it's the market makers and bankers themselves are the DTCC. So to get the MOAS, you need to get these two companies to go down. Well, how are you ever going to get them to margin call themselves? The only way to do that, I'm telling you guys, we can sit here and buy and hold until we're blue in the face, or we can wait for these type of things. But if you truly want it to happen, and happen harder, and happen now, you fuck these banks up. You truly go fuck them up. You make so that they can't afford their margins anymore. You make it so they can't afford their collateral. And by doing that, these banks now, their only choice is to go to these market makers and say, those master agreements that you guys have, the millions and billions and trillions of dollars that are in these master agreements, you need to pay them back. Because we have to get our money back. Because the feds, as we have seen, I've showed you guys forever now, the feds are their best friend. They love them. The feds have to bail these banks out because they're too big to fail, and we need to get that label off of these banks. How do you do that? You leave the banks. You leave all of these ISDA banks. They're too big to fail because currently in the global financial system, everybody's in them. They own too much. And then on top of that, they're over leveraged so much that if they fail, the entire economy will fail. And that's why they had to bail them out in 2008. And guess what they did? They made it even worse. 2008 came. So in 2008, the crash happened. And like I said, I've been showing you guys. Everybody's so worried about the price. They're so worried about these small things. AMC and GameStop's no longer just a short squeeze play. You're talking about life-changing moment. You're talking about the MOAS. You're talking about taking down this corrupt bullshit system that we're in, that we've all pretty much have uncovered. The biggest joke you've ever seen. You have banks give out money that they don't have. You have worldwide, everybody is over-leveraged. The entire country is in debt by the trillions. And you have reportedly over $1.4 quadrillion inside of the derivatives market. $1.4 quadrillion. Think how much money that is. Think how much assets that is. There's not even that. If you bought every house right now in the world and all these things, you wouldn't even equal this number. The problem is there's this thing called securitization. This was a major problem in 2008 because securitization, you're taking assets, you repackage them in a group just like they did in 2008. Do you guys remember what they called the tranches? If you guys remember The Big Short, you had these tranches where you had like the A, you know, you had the double B, B, triple B, A, whatever, you know, the better your credit was, the higher, you know, the higher up you were. And they ended up packaging together, and that's why all these people lost their houses, because these people that were great, paid their mortgage on time, had great credit, they got fucked because they were packaged in alongside these pieces of crap that couldn't afford them, that got mortgages they shouldn't have. And guess what? The banks didn't care, because guess what? They still get the assets back in the end of the day. And who's the fuck over? The American people. And that's about it. They're doing the same thing now. This number right here is not possible. It's not possible without the use of securitization. Now, what do? They evolve just like everything else. They took this, and now they made it into what we call, inside of the stock market, the stock borrow program. Okay? You're basically now taking stocks that people own, you're repackaging them, and you're selling them to somebody else. You're selling things you don't own to keep the ball rolling. If you guys notice, all you ever hear is the word liquidity. I want you guys to understand what that word truly means, because they make it sound like, hey, you need to have liquidity in the market, you need to have money going. Liquidity means we make fake net value. I don't care what stock you own anymore. You guys need to realize this is a casino at this point. You're pretty much playing a video game, okay? They control every asset of the price. We've seen that. Everybody's admitted that. Everybody's getting fined because they can do that at will. It's literally insane. We're playing a rigged casino game. And people will continuously play it. And how do I know that? Because you know the casino's rigged, but you'll sit down at the slot machines and you'll throw in $500-600 at a penny machine, nickel machine, 25-cent machine, knowing you're going to lose 99% of the time. But just in case you hit that one jackpot, guess what? You're going to make exactly what you lost over the last, you've put in over the last couple of years. That's how they get you. And that's if you hit the jackpot. Most people won't come back if they've lost so many times. But as you guys can see, like I said, with the securitization, you got stock borrow program. Not only that, you have the CNS program. The CNS program is one of the most corrupt things in this entire stock market, and it's one of the least talked about things, and I don't understand. It's literally the DTCC. The banks and market makers, once again, they have their own personal vault. Okay? Imagine this is a little vault. Inside this vault, you have real shares. You have shares. The DTCC, everybody always asks, who knows the true number of the shorts? Who knows how many shares are out there? Who knows how many synthetics are out there? Who knows truly how many stocks are really borrowed, blah, blah, blah. The DTCC knows all of that. They know every single thing. Pull up this document and just show you this one quick thing here, quick. Hold on, let me pull up my YouTube. Sorry, I wanted to pull this up before I went live. I didn't realize I was live. Where's my content? Oh, let me just go on my videos. All right. If you look at this here, this was a report that went out, and it shows you guys exactly how they manipulate stocks. It literally shows you what they were going to do to us, and this was written years ago, and it literally happened step by step, play by play. I'll pull this article up here quick. So, inside this article, or it's a report, this guy does extreme research inside in the stock market and corruption. And one of the things he talks about is the CNS program and how it hides billions of synthetic shares. Billions of them. It says that this is how they can also get off Reg Show. This is how, you guys remember back in the day when AMC was on Reg Show and the price never went up. But yet, we suddenly jumped off the thing, which they didn't cover all those FTDs. They didn't cover any of those FTDs. Where did they go? Well, what they can do is dip into the CNS program here. There's rules inside the CNS program. The CNS program is a DTCC company. It's a DTCC program here. And what it stands for is continuous net settlement. Think about the word alone. Continuous net settlement. What does that mean? The net, so the value of whatever you're getting, it has continuous net value. So basically, we don't care what you're borrowing, which I'll get into here in a second. We don't care what you're borrowing. We don't care what stock it is. All we care about is how much money you're taking out. Now, inside the CNS program here, I'm going to just read off one quick thing here because this is a market maker exclusion. This is one of the biggest jokes about this whole thing. While CNS deliveries are made automatically using members' depository positions. Now, what that means is, like I was showing you guys here, this is a vault. It is called netting. Now, what that means is you'll have banks here. You'll have smaller market makers, smaller banks. Okay, not ISDA banks, smaller banks. You'll have brokers, the ones that they call the super brokers, whatever you want to call them in the report. They'll have access to this, okay? Now, each one of them they come in there, and when they say their core positions, they'll deposit a net position of money. Now, they'll call that your core net money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you come over here, members can exempt certain short positions, okay? Think about this now. Members can exempt certain short positions to avoid segregation violations and effectively meet other delivery needs. Now, what's that mean? If I have an order for a stock I don't own, I can dip inside of this. Or if I have if I'm short on a thing, but I still need to fill other obligations, I can still take a share out of this and then sell it and make it instead of covering that short. Like I said, it keeps giving them time to, like, all right, if you're a market maker, if you have other orders, don't worry about your short position. You can exempt your short position as long as you have other orders coming in. Fill those other orders first, basically, to make it super easy. Well, obviously, market makers for AMC will continuously they never ever don't have orders coming in. So basically, this is saying as long as those orders keep coming in, you're good to go. We'll exempt you from your short positions. I mean, think how insane that is. So that they can keep on coming in from this and grabbing and keep grabbing and doing. Like I said, it's like an unlimited glitch. This system needs to go away. And like I said, it's the DTCC. It's their own thing. You can come read all about this. I'm not making any of this stuff up. I made a video here too on this, and let me show you one more thing quick on the CNS program. Basically, what happened is they made a law that in 2014, the NSCC used to make it to where they could stop there you go. The NSCC made it to where, or the SEC approved a rule to where the NSCC can no longer force these people to do buybacks. So they ended up doing this. Here you go. Now look at this. You remember how I was talking to you about that first exclusion? Here's a second exclusion inside the CNS program for market makers, okay? Market makers may maintain temporary short positions in CNS until such time as there is significant trading to flatten out their position. Now, you remember I was just talking to you guys about a law that said the NSCC can no longer force them to do buybacks. If you read here, the NSC does not have the authority anymore to execute buy-ins on behalf of its members. So what's going on is you'll have these market makers continuously coming inside of this, taking out shares, taking out settlement that they don't have, and they have it to where inside of this program, just like all these other ones you read inside the GameStop report, they can pass it on to other members. So they can it's continuous net settlement. They can continuously pass it on. Other people can cover their position temporarily. Like I said, the casino that we're playing is so rigged. It's truly insane that people are even playing this. And like I said, each time they come up with these new little words, these liquidity. Liquidity just means we're out of liquidity, we're out of money in these other areas, so we need to make up a brand new pool of fake money. Or the one thing I'm nervous about with these ETFs here. So if you look at these single ETFs here, most people their pensions, like I said, their 401ks, they don't necessarily have the say in which stocks they actually put their shares in. So one of the things they can do is pass the bag to retail through these. They can pass the bag through pension funds, 401ks. We already see that they're trying to do that anyway. So this is why I've been telling everyone with the 401k, either spend it or roll it over to a Roth, do something with it, because if you're not in charge of where that money's going, it's going to be gone. You already saw that in 2008. How many people lost their 401k? They're trying to do the same stuff. They're doing it with these now. Like I said, it's 2008, but they've evolved. Their securitization has evolved. It's no longer just all backed by mortgage-backed securities. On top of that, you have the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve they said that they were going to lower their balance sheet. Well, as you guys see on Occupy the Feds, they actually raised their balance sheet once again. So they're still over $9 trillion. Where is it? 1 second here. I just posted it. Like I said, this account, if you guys want to keep up with what's going on with the Federal Reserve, this is it. Oh, and on top of that, more Chair Federal Powell, other people inside the Federal Reserve, they're buying securities during pandemics and doing all these other illegal things. Once again, don't let that go under the radar. Here, where is it? Sorry, I can't find it. But yeah, if you guys look at this, like I said, Federal Reserve bailed out Wall Street trading firms with $48 trillion in repos, overnight cash loans. I said, you guys, it's just insane. If you truly look at how much money is throwing around, that they throw around like candy, and then what happens? Inflation goes up. Inflation is now 9.1%. Why? Because they're stealing money that we don't have by the billions, by the trillions. Everybody owes everybody. Like I said, this is what's going to happen eventually. You're already seeing it worldwide. People are already storming the streets. People are already not able to access their money. This could be a massive deal, you guys, with these Chinese mortgages. If people are seriously not paying their loans, and we're not talking about just a couple people here. They're talking about a good 400, 500,000 people got together and said, fuck this, we're not paying our loans tomorrow. Can you imagine if they continuously get more and more? This is why I keep telling everybody, our number one goal, our number one power, our number one thing to do, wake everybody up to what the fuck is going on. Because this is literally a joke. You have so many articles, proof, court hearings, documents. Banks are running drugs. They're the biggest drug dealers out there. They have politicians in their pocket. Politicians do what? They take away a little of this, a little of that, so they have us fighting these things to get them back. Rights. Abortion. How can abortion be taken? All these things. You can say you're pro, whatever. It doesn't matter. They just want to take a little of things that we've already had, so now we need to, for the next fucking 8 years, focus on getting those back instead of focusing on what the fuck is going on. You got freak shows like Bill Gates, who does nothing but talk about population control, talk about using vaccines and doing all these certain things, and next thing you notice, population's going down. This COVID pandemic, everyone needs these jabs. You have Fashani now coming out saying they're not as effective. Like I said, it's constantly lies. $25 billion later, people die later. They don't give a fuck. They were burning people in those data center fires. They don't care, people. We're literally nothing like the Bugs Life showed, man. We're the fucking ants and they're the grasshoppers. They don't care, dude. These guys... You have Jeffrey Epstein Island. What happened? The girl that was targeting these kids, bringing these fucking children in, she got 20 years. But we don't know a single person that was on the client list that she had. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, we do. The problem is they're all so fucking rich. They're able to literally fuck little kids and no one cares. It's so fucked up what is going on in this world. And what do? We write about it. We go on Twitter and we bitch about it. We go on fucking social media and complain about it. And the next day they're walking the streets doing whatever the fuck they want to do. But yet we go and steal a fucking candy bar. And guess what? You do it too many times, you're not looking at felonies, you're looking at this. But hey, at least they're still shipping their fucking champagne. They're still, like I said, Bill Gates just bought what? He just got approved. It was like 20,000 acres or something. If you look at the entire United States, let's literally look at this. If you look at the United States, who owns the most land? You literally have the entire United States is owned by like 8 families. I mean, literally, look at how many acres this is, you guys. This is the 50th. These are the 50th. We're going down. Those are the bottoms. This guy owns 2 million fucking acres of land. 2 million acres of land. You have people that literally own more than, they like own fucking states, dude. And this isn't even talking about Bill Gates, who I fucking know his ass owns more than this. You saw overseas, they were literally talking about just how they did this, that the banks and the politicians overseas, this is why you have these riots going on here as well in like Panama. The banks fucked over all these people, all these farmers, stole their land, bought up all as much as they can, and now they're basically our main source of food is the 1%. The people that talks about population control nonstop. Everybody's more infertile than they've ever been. How easy is that? You drop something in a fucking thing of food. Like I said, these guys, you don't know what these fucking people are doing. They don't care. They don't give a shit. They're so fucking rich, they have nothing else to do. They don't know what it means to go into a store and spend fucking $100 on 10 items of food. They don't even go into the store. They have fucking people who do it for them. You have politicians left and right stealing, doing insider trading. Nancy Pelosi has made over, what, $200 million illegally in the stock market, and no one cares? Every time we're about to fuck them, every time they're about to lose, you see a brand new pool, SFTs. Oh, we need to do overnight reverse repo fucking for short sellers. We need to make it so they can come in and just give us more money, and then they can get away with their short positions. Oh, that's still not enough? We need to make fucking single ETFs. Okay? This right here, I'm telling you. If you're listening to this and you're like, man, I can hit some of these single ETFs, you guys have no idea how fast you can lose money on these. You can lose it way quicker than you think. These are very risky. These are not ones you want to just go play around with. These are for catching inexperienced retail off guard. And these are, like I said, for me, it's passing, hey, let's get some pension funds jumping in on these and let's drop it quicker. Oh, let's do the opposite. Like I said, we see how they can control the price. Look at Max Payne. Guess what? Max Payne was today. Let's see what Max Payne is for AMC. Okay, so what's fucking AMC at? I bet we hit it. I bet we hit it again. Oh, crazy! Right at fucking max pain. No way. No way. For the what? 90th fucking week in a row, we're hitting max pain. Like I said, they will hit max pain on us every fucking week until we stop playing these stupid options. I'm telling you. You can have, you can have all these YouTubers push options all they want. The problem is the people that know what they're doing are going to be able to play it. They know when to sell it. You're going to be day trading them. You're not going to be sitting there fucking doing what we need them to do. The people that know how to play options, they're not fucking executing them. They're not getting their shares. They're not doing all this shit. They're not pushing it to the stock high enough to where everyone's like, well, get a fucking giant gamma squeeze. Maybe if they have to hedge for those positions. If they don't have to hedge for those positions, all you guys just spent YOLO money on. Oh, wait, they just took your premiums and now they're laughing. AMC's max pain, $15 for the 100th fucking time. We're at 1508. Like I said, you guys, everyone asks me every week, like, well, what the fuck's the stock going to be at? I say, look, on Thursday and Friday, tell me what the max pain is. That's what we'll end at. It's been right for a long time. Like I said, you can play up the ups and downs on the way right now, and that's how you can make your money on options on AMC. But tell them buy and hold. But these two things right here are going to be the things that are going to finish this off. I only got about 8 more minutes, guys. I got to go after that. But these two things, I'm just going to go over these, and then I'm going to head out here. I have to go to work. But phase 6. Keep talking about phase 6. This is way more important than the CAT system. Just going to go over what it does real quick. So phase 6 in a nutshell. Okay. It's going to affect 775 out of 900 and I think there's 8 ISDA members, okay? So this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. Currently right now you have ISDA member, which is usually a market maker or a small bank. It's going to be your sub-members. So if you come over here and actually do ISDA members, you can see it's got 3 different subcategories. You have primary members, associate members, and subscriber members. So subscriber members are going to be your small banks. Primaries are going to be your like middle tier banks, and it's going to be your market makers. And your primary members are going to be your top banks, okay? It's going to be these big boys. It's going to be JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, that type of thing. Now, what's going to happen here is you're going to have so you're going to have these smaller banks like the associate whatever or the subs. You're going to have an associate member or sub member. Go to a primary member, which is a huge bank. And they're going to write what we call a master agreement. This master agreement, you can do a whole bunch of things. This is how they manipulate the stock market. If you guys look at the Overstock lawsuit and you want to read something real quick to understand the ways that they can do it, you can look at what we call sham resets or sham closeouts. I'll send a link here. You can pull up a whole bunch of things. You can Google sham resets and closeouts as well, but this is a very good explanation because it's in a court document. It's in a court case, so you know it's not wrong because they got charged with it. So if you come down here and look at these sham resets, they're actually able to close out of short positions. They're able to reset transactions. They're able to reset dates on transactions so they can keep pushing things off. They can get off reg show with sham resets, sham closeouts. They can do all sorts of crazy things with those. Well, this will stop that. And on top of that, right now they have what are called credit support annexes. A credit support annex shows you have collateral. So it shows you have the collateral, but you don't have to deposit it right now. So you can sit there and use the same credit support annex for multiple banks, okay? Multiple agreements. This is what Huang did. This is why Huang got caught, because he He went to multiple banks. He opened up multiple agreements. He over-leveraged himself. He used the same credit support annex, showing that he could cover it. He could cover it. He could cover it. So they kept opening new ones. Well, now, because you have the DTCC writing them, nobody else is regulating them. Nobody's overseeing them. It's just the DTCC. It's just the corrupt bankers. Well, guess what? The DTCC writes the ISDA contracts. So, of course, they're going to say yes to everything because they make money at every single contract they open. So, they're always going to say yes. And then when people get over leveraged, they just forgive them, as we see. So, the DTCC will write these contracts. Well, what this is going to do is actually make it so you're now going to have the World Bank is now going to oversee this. The World Bank is now going to watch this. It's going to see a deposit. They're no longer going to be able to use credit support annexes all over and over and over. You're now going to have to deposit 10% into an account. And inside this account, this account will be managed by the World Bank. This is where corruption will end, you guys. This is no longer all about the United States regulators. They're fucked. The World Bank will do it. The world regulators will do it. You're going to have other countries on top of this. You're going to have other countries in charge of this. It's no longer just ISDA. It's no longer, like I said, the whole world is fucked up because of this. The entire world is over margin. The entire world is fucked up because ISDA contracts, because people can keep on doing this. China's been getting destroyed through it. Like I said, you have 50 cities, you guys. China held in more just after homebuyers stopped payments in more than 50 cities and counting. Like I said, they're taking a stand. This is why I keep telling you guys. We need to take a stand. Get the fuck out of these ISDA banks. If you can refinance your home at a local credit union, at a family local bank, you'll probably get a better rate. You're going to get better service. If you can move it over, do that. You can take that money out of the derivatives market. You're now destroying these banks that can sit there like JP Morgan and just throw 14 trillion in the derivatives market. They can literally just over leverage as much as they want because we don't have access to this. Do I think the World Bank's upstanding? No, but do I think it's as corrupt when you have the World Bank and 50 other countries watching you? I think it's a lot more less corrupt than the United States regulating itself. Do you? Now, when you have, on top of that, you're going to have, like I said, you're going to have all these regulators watching this. You're going to now have this money, which will get rid of this unlimited leverage that they have with unlimited credit support annexes. This regulatory repository system. This is now going to be worldwide. So the World Bank and all these countries are seeing how messed up everything is getting. Actually, I got to go, guys. I got to go to work. Sorry. I'd love to keep going, but I don't have any more time. I'll make another video on this repository system. I'll just make like a 10-15 minute video on it to explain what it does, because this is the biggest thing that I think out of everything is going to finally finish this stuff off. I don't know how they get around this. The repository system, if you read it, you have to follow all guidelines. There's going to be 51 people in charge of it, for one in representing each country. You're going to have the World Bank. So in order for you to be corrupt, you would have to corrupt 51 different countries. And on top of that, most of the corruption that happens is attacking other countries. So you're not going to have one country get attacked through derivatives and be like, no, it's good to go, just keep fucking us up. They're going to tell on people. So you're going to start seeing stuff get called out more. So like I said, this is going to be a big, big deal here. But thanks, guys, for listening. Hope you all have a good day.